And then howl. She was just doing it. Not you. You're a camera hog. You're in like every video. I was trying to get your sister howling. There we go.
You ready? Here we go. It did it. I don't believe it. Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go. Go.
Hot drop. And 3, 2, 1.
Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go Panthers. Let's go. Go. All right, Panther fans. So how we doing? The dreaded Tampa Bay Lightning are in town tonight. The game is being shown on the dreaded ESPN Plus. That's two things. What's the third thing? I'm not so sure. Oh, I guess you could say the dreaded Eric Staal contract. So we cleared some space by knocking Aaron Ekblad out into the LTIR, and the first thing we did with it, besides bringing up a couple defensemen, was sign 37-year-old Eric Staal, who wasn't in the league last year. Okay, all right. You know, I don't know what we're going to do with him when Ekblad comes back. That's a whole nother list of discussions about the salary cap that I'm kind of sick of having. So we'll just see what happens. Looks like Brandon Montour's back on the ice tonight. At least that's the last update that I saw. Lucas Carlson is out. So that'll make Stu happy, because I know Stu much prefers Eric Staal to Lucas Carlson. We haven't had an overtime game yet. And it would make sense that our first overtime game would be without Goldie and Randy calling the game. I don't know who we're going to have on ESPN Plus, but it's a pain. It's a massive pain in my ass, especially because apparently I have an LG TV, which is like the one brand of TV that doesn't work with the app. You can't get the app on the TV, so I had to bring down the extra laptop, get it updated, connect it with the Ethernet cord, and it's just a mess. But I got the game. We're going to be streaming a little bit late tonight, but we're going to do the whole thing. It might be a crabby night. Let's put it that way. I need a good game from this team, all right? Tampa Bay has not started off all that well, and let's keep them in last place for a little bit longer before they decide to start playing again. All right. 4-3 Panthers in overtime. Let's get to. So, it's 1-1 after 1. I really couldn't tell you a whole lot of what happened in that hockey period, because between myself and Stu and my brother and about a half dozen other people, my stream is full of people with technical issues trying to be able to watch ESPN Plus, whether it's somebody like me trying to cast it to the TV, but I have an LG TV, and you can't cast it to an LG TV, and you can't get it, the ESPN app, on that TV. Or somebody who's trying to get it signed up for Hulu, and they were having technical issues, or trying to watch it on one of the websites that you're really not supposed to watch it on, and it was having technical issues. Like half of us missed like half of the game, half of the first period. ESPN Plus, it just shouldn't be that hard. It just shouldn't be that hard. People, I got a stream full of people wanting to pay to just click their TV and have it on the TV. And so everybody's starting to figure out now, okay, so you can get a free trial of Hulu and watch the game, and that's what we got. As the horn sounded, we created a new Hulu account, and now we can watch the game on the TV. I got 70 inches of black screen for the first period. All right, now, in terms of the hockey game, entertaining, definitely entertaining. We've already had a couple of power plays. We didn't do anything, and of course, Tampa comes down on their first power play. We cannot stop Tampa's power play. We just have never been able to do it. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to stop their power play. But Brandon Montour, happy to see you back in the lineup with a backhanded shot that I believe Tkachuk tipped in. It was hard to tell because when ESPN showed the replay, they showed it like from a high above angle, And the guy said Kachuk tipped it in. I suppose that he would have had to. It'd be tough to beat Vasilevsky with a backhander from that far out. So happy to see you, Brandon Montour. Montour Forsling are the top pair. Mahura Gudis is the second pair. They look good. Everything looks good. And now for the second period, it will look good on the TV. All right. So, 2-1 Panthers after 2. That was a much more relaxing period. First of all, that's the first period since I started lifting weights when we get scored upon in the live stream. That's the first period that I haven't had to lift any weights because we didn't get scored on. So I'm liking that. And then, just what a freaking beautiful goal. That line with Bennett, Kachuk, and Balcers. I was talking about it on the stream right when Balcers scored. That somebody asked me on the hashtag AskJaws video I did today. They asked me who I thought was going to be the best out of the three. Balcers, Cousins, and White out of the three that we picked up. And as I was saying Balcers' name, he scored. It was a beautiful thing. So I love that line. Bubba. I'm just calling him Bubba from now on, because that seems to be working. All the previous years when I said Bob is playing well, he would immediately turn to ass. But I'm just calling him Bubba now. And it seems to not be jinxing him. So Bubba is playing a hell of a game. What else we got out there? We look good, man. We look good. We look good. The Lightning, they look, I don't want to call them tired. I don't know what you would call it. Disinterested. They're not quite, it's almost as though they kind of figure they're just going to make the playoffs on cruise control and then expend their energy there. I don't know about that, guys. I mean, you could get a little bit far behind. I mean, they're what, 1-3, 1-4? They're fixing to be, 1-4 or 1-5, whichever it is. They're in last place. You don't want to mess around too long, Tampa. You guys aren't playing all that well. Just don't have the same level of energy that we're used to seeing. There was a little bit of rough stuff trying to get going there with Kachuk. And then later on, it was Brandon Montour got into the box as well. We had a lot of 4-on-4 hockey that period. But I didn't have to lift any weights. And everybody has their technical issues solved. So I guess the thing with the ESPN Plus is you can also watch it on Hulu on your TV. But so many people don't know that. And I know there's some people that say, well, it's just easy. You just sign up for it. A lot of people aren't paying attention that closely, right? Most people are coming home from work. They just want to turn on Bally's and watch the freaking hockey game. They don't want to have to pay another $8 a month over here or another $8 a month over here. So I get that it can sound like just whiny crybaby stuff to some people. They just paid for all that stuff and have every subscription. But for a lot of people, they're already paying DirecTV or the cable. We're already paying. I mean, I pay $140 a month to DirecTV, another $30 a month for Center Ice, and I still have to pay more to watch this half dozen games with ESPN or Hulu. It's kind of a ripoff, but we're having a good time anyway. It's Friday night, and let's finish this. We're beating the crap out of this team. The score is not indicative of how much better the Panthers are playing.
We are going to overtime!
So I filmed the whole rant and wasn't recording. Panthers lose 3-2 in overtime. Where do we start? Well, now I know what Matthew Tkachuk did was stupid. It was stupid. But he already had the penalty called against them. So they were going on the power play anyway. Didn't really see what happened all that well that led up to the slash because the ESPN coverage wasn't fantastic. So while I don't like what Tkachuk did in terms of the after the whistle play, I suppose he was trying to draw something, which he did, but it was still going to be 2 minutes. So there's that. We really let the Lightning back into the game third period. And I'm starting to see some things with Coach Maurice that I'm less than thrilled with. He's insisting that Reinhardt's going to go with Barkov, regardless of how much it's just not working. Now, Barkov looked better tonight. I'm not ripping on Barkov, but just between the two of them, it's just not happening. Just whatever the freaking mojo, juju, energy is between them, when one passes the puck to the other one will miss the net. It's just not happening. But we keep throwing them out there over and over and over and over again. And meanwhile, the fourth line is playing 7 minutes a night, 8 minutes a night, maybe. So he doesn't mind wearing those guys out at the top. We had our chances. Balsers almost got the third one. Hornquist almost, not Hornquist. Tkachuk. And then Reinhardt missed. I mean, Reinhardt missed his shot. I don't know how he missed. I mean, I guess he only had a third of the net open, so I guess it just wasn't quite enough. But the pass did come from Barkov, so again, they just can't make it happen. Bubba played his ass off today, and that should have been 2 points, and I'm pissed because we let them come back in. And when I first saw it, I was really pissed at Tkachuk for doing, and I still think it was stupid. You don't be pushing the guy. He's already on the ice. What are you doing? Why are you pushing him in the back of the head? But the penalty had already been called. And what was he trying to do? Get him to stand up and fight? I don't know what he was thinking there. I can't stand when you finally get to overtime and then you end up with the power play, because it's almost always going to end badly. Because 4-3 is just, that's a lot of open ice with an extra man. So that's tough. This was a game that we should have had. And I don't want to overreact because it's game 5. I'm a little frustrated because we all had technical issues watching the game. So maybe it's better that my original rant just... the camera didn't want to hear it either. So that's okay. But I will say that there's a couple of things that I wish this coach would consider doing, which is roll the 4 lines. Put me up top with Barkov. Anybody but Reinhardt. We already know this from last year. It don't work. And the reason why I'm harping on that is because he keeps putting them out there on the ice like every other shift. Now, if they were hot, I could understand that. But the top line right now is Tkachuk, Bennett, and Balsers. Okay? If you want to triple shift anybody, triple shift them. And I know they were on the ice a lot too. But it's just, the Barkov line is standing out because it's just like an incredible... I don't know how to describe it. It's like they're finding new ways to fail. It's just not working. Defense was good. The defense was just fine. I mean, when you give up 2 goals in regulation, your defense has played well. And I hate that it ended on a power play in overtime, and I don't know what happened to end up where Tkachuk was so far behind the guy that he had to slash him to stop, and he still got a shot off. And the announcers on TV can just take a big ball of dust and shove it right up their noses. Okay, they were calling for a penalty shot, and then they brought in the rules expert, and the rules expert was like, "What the hell's wrong with you guys? It's not a penalty shot." So those announcers, God, I can't stand these games where we don't have Randy and Goldie. Irritable as hell night. Can't believe we blew that game. We were thoroughly outplaying them. And in the third period, they outworked us. They outworked us. We are not playing our 4th line enough. The 3rd line's really not clicking because it should be Lundell with Reinhardt. That's the other part. Now, Colin White's playing well. Put him up top with Barkov. This isn't rocket science. Jeez. It's not that hard. You only got 12 guys. You don't have anybody extra, right? Coach said the lines were going to be fluid. That was bullshit. She hasn't made one teeny tiny. Oh, and then the power play. The power play. The power play looked pretty good to start the season. You had Ekblad and Barkov for the points. You had Kachuk and Hornquist doing the Braden point and doing the stuff in front of the net. And then you had Montour or Forsling running the power play. For some reason, because Ekblad got hurt, we now have Barkov running the power play. It's not good. Barkov may be the best two-way forward in the NHL, and if you have that opinion, that's fine. But he sucks at running the power play. It's bad. He's too slow with the puck. He doesn't make quick enough decisions, and he loses the puck at the blue line a lot. Why, just because Ekblad is out, did we decide to have Barkov run the power play? He's not good. Again, we already learned this last year. And I know it sounds like I'm picking on Barkov, but I'm really not. I'm really kind of pissed at the coach. Because we have other guys. If Barkov isn't going, or if, to run their power, we have other guys. We have the guys. All right. Carl's finishing up the stream now. Stu and I will be back in the morning. I'm just pissed about this whole third period, that whole thing that happened in overtime against the Lightning. We let them right off the schneid. We give them 2 points in our barn, and it was avoidable. We once again were outcoached by John Cooper. Ain't no two ways about it. Okay? Ain't no two ways about it. And while I wasn't a huge fan of the line blender of Q and Brunette, it wouldn't kill you to make a little bit of a switch, Coach. Just a teeny tiny eensy weensy bit of a switch. By the time you get to game 5, and 2 guys on your top line haven't scored, and the only guy on the top line that has scored did it all by himself in Verhaeghe. So there you go. All right. Sunday, Panther game starts at 5. The live stream starts at 4. The Miami Dolphin game starts at 8:20. So Kyle and I will start streaming at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we are going to go all the way through to the end of the Miami Dolphin game sometime around midnight. During the second half of the Dolphin game, hide the women and children because it's gonna be lit. I don't know how else I can say it. I appreciate all the support. Thank you for all the super chats and the live stream. Really, I can't say it enough. I genuinely appreciate everybody who's coming out to the live stream. By the time the game was over tonight, we had like 70 people in the room. It's a great thing. Guys are super chatting, and we're getting members and Patreon supporters and subscribers, and it's just fantastic. And I wish we would have won the game. But that's a different story. So Stu and I see you again tomorrow morning, bright and early on Saturday morning, because that's what we do. And then I'm going to take a nap.